Troy Davis died on September 21st, 2011. How and why did he die, you may ask? Davis was put to death by the state of Georgia. He was accused of murdering a police officer who tried to stop an assault in 1989 at a Burger King in Savannah, Georgia. Police said that he killed the police officer and then fled to Atlanta. People testified against him, and he was found guilty of murder. So, maybe you're thinking, because he was found guilty, he deserved to be put to death. Well, it's not that simple. Many of the witnesses that testified against Davis have since recanted, saying that police threatened them into lying because they wanted justice for the dead police officer. Troy Davis's mother testified that her son was home at the time of the murder. Davis testified that he saw the assault take place but left before any shots had been fired. Davis also did not have the most qualified lawyer in the world. If somebody cannot afford a lawyer, they are provided one by the state, and often these attorneys are not the most qualified. That is what happened to Troy Davis. He was accused of murder, but did not get a fair trial. Most of the best lawyers are private attorneys because they can make a lot more money than public defenders. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg once said, "I have yet to see a death case among the dozen coming to the Supreme Court on eve of execution stay applications in which the defendant was well represented at trial. People who are well represented do not get the death penalty." This is not to say that all public defenders are bad lawyers. Some of them are great at what they do, and they do it for the good of society. However, the average public defender is not nearly as good as the average private attorney, so this gives people with less money a major disadvantage, and along with police forcing witnesses to lie, may have cost Troy Davis's life. Because of this, and many more reasons, the death penalty should be abolished. When a guilty man gets the death penalty, it is appalling. But when an innocent person is put to death, it is even worse. One major problem with the death penalty is the fact that it is irreversible. When you put somebody to death, that's it. You don't get a second chance to make things right. Now, raise your hand if there's somebody in your life that you love. It can be anyone. Now imagine that person being gone, not because that person is sick, not because that person got in a car accident, but because of someone's lies. When someone is put under oath, they promise to tell the truth. Sometimes that doesn't happen. I know, maybe you're thinking, well, nobody would lie about that. And in a perfect world, nobody would. However, we don't live in a perfect world. Sometimes it may not even be that the person lied. Sometimes someone just may not remember events correctly. Sometimes people think they see things happen that actually didn't. I'm not talking about drug addicts hallucinating, but normal people misunderstanding what they see. All of us are human, and we can all misunderstand what we see, and that should not cost someone their life. Supporters of the death penalty say that it stops people from murdering others. However, that is not true. It actually has zero effect. First of all, when somebody kills someone, the murderer does not think about the consequences. Do you actually think that if the death penalty was abolished, someone would say, "Oh goody, now I can kill people, but I will just have life in prison. Yay!" No, they don't. Gregory Ruff, a police lieutenant in Kansas, once said, "I have never heard a murderer say that they thought about the death penalty as a consequence to their actions." Louisiana has the highest murder rate in the country, yet they still have the death penalty. Wisconsin has one of the lowest murder rates, yet they have no death penalty. Don't you think that if the death penalty stopped people from killing others, maybe you would actually notice it in the murder rate? Don't you think Louisiana would have a lower murder rate if the death penalty was effective? Don't you think Wisconsin would have a higher murder rate if criminals actually thought about the death penalty? What if your family member was murdered? Then how would you feel? That is a question asked by many supporters of the death penalty. The only honest answer that I can give is that I don't know. Maybe I would want the worst possible thing to happen to the murderer, but maybe I would feel the same way Marietta Yeager felt when she lost a loved one. Marietta Yeager's 7-year-old daughter, Susie, was kidnapped and killed in 1973. Yeager said, concerning the claim of justice for the victim's family, I say there is no amount of retaliatory deaths that would compensate to me the inestimable value of my daughter's life, nor would they restore her to my arms. To say that the death of any person would be just retribution is to insult the immeasurable worth of our loved ones who are victims. That kind of justice would only dehumanize and degrade us because it legitimizes an animal instinct for gut-level blood-thirsty revenge. In my case, my own daughter was such a gift of joy and sweetness and beauty that to kill someone in her name would have been to violate and profane the goodness of her life. The idea is offensive and repulsive to me. Maybe I would feel the same way Marietta Yeager felt, but even if I didn't, that does not mean that there should be a death penalty. The purpose of our justice system is to protect society. As famed Archbishop Desmond Tutu said, to take a life when a life has been lost is revenge, not justice. The purpose of our justice system is to get justice for the victim, not revenge. If somebody is in prison, there is no way that that person can hurt you or me, so why kill them? Troy Davis did not deserve to die. Our government has decided that we have the right to choose who deserves to die. It's as if we are better than someone, as if our lives have more purpose than another's. We all deserve that chance to live, and the death penalty takes that away. Just ask Troy Davis. Oh wait, we can't. Because of the horrific death penalty, he will never get a chance to see his friend again, because he himself was murdered. As French philosopher Albert Camus said, capital punishment is the most premeditated of murders. The death penalty goes against everything that we as a nation and our Constitution stand for. The 8th Amendment says, excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines be imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. As citizens of this country, nobody should have an over-the-top punishment for their crime. Taking away someone's life is over the top. Taking away a mother's son, a sister's brother, or a son's father is over the top. Taking away Troy Davis's life because of some people lying is way over the top. The death penalty has gotten out of control and it must be stopped. I know many of you can't vote, but tell your parents about the death penalty and tell them how wrong it is, and tell them to go to change.org where they can sign an online petition against the death penalty. There is so much we can do to stop this, and it can be done. You and I will never know if Troy Davis murdered a police officer, but what we do know is that Troy Davis himself was murdered by the state of Georgia. We must do all that we can so there is never another Troy Davis. Thank you.